as soon as you get that call and you cut, it's over with. It's over. Now you at the liberty of waiting on somebody to give you a call. And you don't know when that call gonna ever come, bro. And in my case, it never came, no more. That's it. I went and played arena football. That didn't fill me up. And I chased it till I couldn't chase it no more.
So that career came to an end. And so when did that next phase of life, that new identity kick in? How long, what was that timetable? How long did it take you to bounce back to the next phase?
I tell everybody, and I'm going to tell you, bro, it took me 10 years. I went through 10 years, 10 long years of depression. And just being lost, being ashamed, running through all my money, being embarrassed, living with my mama, living with my grandmama. I'm just going from house to house, just lost, bro. I was never hiding though. I always stayed in the community. I always gave back to the community because I got a connection with God. And I knew I was getting a spanking. I knew it. I was getting a spanking, bro. He hadn't gave me everything. And it went to my head, and it was just too much for me to handle at that time. And so he said, well, since I gave it to you, I'm going to let you know I'm the one taking it from you.
Welcome to Beyond the Game, where mental wellness competes. I'm your host, Philip Reynolds, licensed clinical social worker, LCSW. I spent over 2 decades working in mental and behavioral health, sitting with families, athletes, and young people in some of the hardest moments of their lives. Over time, one pattern became impossible to ignore. The athletes who looked the strongest on the outside were often carrying the heaviest pressure on the inside. I kept meeting high performers who knew how to train their bodies, knew how to push through pain, knew how to fight for a starting spot or a scholarship, but no one had ever taught them how to process loss, identity shifts, injury, burnout, or the silence that comes when their playing careers end. That gap is what led me to create Copious Life Sports Initiative, or CLSI. Our mission is to close what we call the resilience gap. That is the space between pushing through and breaking down, where too many athletes get stranded. This podcast exists because the conversation around athlete mental health needs more than headlines. It needs stories, real stories from athletes who lived it, coaches who saw it, parents who felt it, journalists who covered it, professionals working to change the system. Because athletes are not just performers, they're people. Here, we talk about the pressure behind the performance, the identity behind the jersey, the silence behind the success. My hope is that every episode helps athletes feel less alone, helps families feel more equipped, helps coaches and leaders rethink what it really means to support the whole athlete. This is Beyond the Game, and I'm really glad you're here. Excited to have with us today's guest, Stanley McClover, someone who understands what it takes to compete at a high level and what it means to build a life beyond the game. Stanley Lucci McClover is a former NFL athlete whose journey has evolved into something far greater than football. After his playing career, Stanley stepped into a new season that required a different kind of strength, not the kind measured by performance and accolades, but the kind built through growth, responsibility, and purpose. What makes his story especially powerful is how fatherhood reshaped his perspective. As a father to a child with autism, Stanley has developed a deeper understanding of patience, presence, and what it truly means to show up for someone. That experience led him to found Hype for Life Foundation, a nonprofit dedicated to raising awareness for autism and supporting families through that journey. Through his work, he's creating space for connection, advocacy, and conversations that many fathers often carry on their own. Today, Stanley's using his platform to speak on mental wellness, life after sports, and the importance of purpose beyond performance. His story is about growth, fatherhood, and stepping into a calling that extends far beyond the field. And I'm excited to have this conversation with you today, Stanley. Good morning to you.
Good morning, my brother. A beautiful introduction. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that.
Hey, no problem, man. Talk to me about that time growing up in Fort Lauderdale and then kind of that pathway to getting to the NFL.
Yeah, man. I'm glad to be here, man. Thank you for having me again. I started my journey in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I don't have the typical story of always wanting to play football. That wasn't my thing. I was a band member. I love being in
Okay.
the band. I love music, but God had other plans for my life. So I started playing ball in my well, I always been playing ball, but I took it serious my sophomore year when one of the coaches made me go out there and play because I was so big. So they're like, man, you gonna go play football. So I was like, damn. So I
Yeah.
went out there and I did it, and it changed my life, man. And I was the first person in my family to make it to the NFL. I played for Auburn University. Had a 2-3 year career there. I left school early and went to the league and got drafted by Carolina Panthers in the 7th round. And I think that was one of the first humbling experiences I had in
Mm.
football. Being highly touted, being very good in college, but not going where I thought I was supposed to go. So that was my first bit of adversity. But I used that, and I used that as fuel to make the team. And I made the squad. I played for Carolina for 3 years. Then I was cut. Then I played for Houston Texans for 2 years. But I ended up getting hurt when I was in Houston.
Okay.
My first snap on kickoff, I got hurt. And at 24 years old, that was my last snap. So you never know when your time gonna be up. So my message be to all young players, live in the moment, enjoy the moment. Don't get so caught up in everything else. Really enjoy being in the NFL because you don't know when it could be over.
Yeah, man. I mean, you touched on a couple of good points. If we go back to childhood, wait, how tall are you?
I'm 6'3".
Okay.
Yep.
And so at the time where you were in band in high school, how tall were you then?
I'd say I was probably 6 foot. I was probably 6 foot,
Okay.
but I was on the heavy side. I was probably about maybe 220. So that was good. That
Woo,
was good size for a high schooler. I
So what
was
what
around
were you
that
playing?
bass drum. I was playing the bass
Yeah,
drum.
okay, okay.
Yeah, I was doing my thing. And I was good. Ain't need nobody bothering me. I was doing good.
Yeah.
But
But that's dope because before you got into athletics, you had a whole completely different identity. And so you experienced your first big identity shift early on, right? So a lot of players, they play ball from a young age and then
yeah,
they get that shift when their career ends. But you were like, okay, I'm in band, I'm loving band and everything
yeah,
else.
that's my
So
life,
you went
bro.
from being band to being a football player. What was that like? What did other players say? Seeing you big as all get out
Man,
on
bro.
that bass
First of
drum coming
all,
over to the field.
my parents had always made me play because in Florida, if anybody know anybody from Fort Lauderdale, down south in Florida, you gonna play football. I don't give a damn whether you good or not. They gonna make you go play football. So I've always been on a team, but I ain't never played. I was just out there. So I never took it serious. But the music, the band was it attracted me. It attracted me big
Right,
time. So that's where I wanted to be. Always being in the band and being around the band. The marching high school bands was real lit. Everybody dancing, having fun. That's me. I love to have
right,
fun. So
right.
when the transition happened, the coach seen me in the hallway one day. He was like, "Hey, boy, you need to see me at the field today. I'm in the 10th grade, bro." He's telling me this is the head varsity coach. He like, "I want you to play. You're gonna play offensive tackle for the varsity
Oh wow.
team, and I'm gonna make you a starter." I say, "What?" So, bro, they threw me a number 75. They just threw it at me, hit me in my face. And I ain't know much about football, but I knew 75
Right,
wasn't no good number. Bro. Ain't nothing
right,
like 75 was good. But
right.
that was my destiny, bro. And I got out there and they made me a man. I was soft as I don't know what. All I want to do was play music, but they got me out there and they beat me up, man. They beat me up in a good way. They made me tough. They made me tough. It changed my life.
Yeah, man. I think that's dope. Kind of that identity shift early on, and then you became a football player,
Yep.
right? Because you weren't
Overnight.
in the band at Auburn. Not going to Auburn, you weren't doing both. You had one job and one job only at
God had
Auburn.
other plans for me.
Right. So when did you make that transition from the offensive side of the ball to the defensive side of the ball?
My senior year, I played offensive tackle. My 10th grade year, I started on varsity. Then the next year, I played offensive tackle and defensive tackle because we just needed me to play both ways. So that's when I started discovering I could play. I was pretty good. So now I'm playing offensive tackle, defensive tackle. I'm not leaving the field at all. I'm just on the field the whole time. And so my senior year rolled around, and I realized I was very, very fast. I was running like a 4.4 in high school as a DN.
Yeah.
I mean, as an
That ain't
offensive
no tackle
tackle.
speed. Yeah,
So I was
unless you
fast.
Trent Williams, that ain't speed.
I was fast, bro. So I asked the head coach at the time. I said, man, I want to get on the end of the line. I want to play defensive end so I can use my speed. I don't want to block no more. I'm past that. I done grew
Right.
into myself. I'm big. I
Right.
got dreads in my head now. I got that confidence. I got some swag. I
I'm
want to
dangerous
play
now. I'm
defensive end.
dangerous.
I
Yeah, for
played
sure.
DN
For
in
sure.
1 year, man. I got 31 sacks. My last year in high school at Dilla High. 31 sacks.
What was on the other side of the field from you, bro?
Man, bro. It was it was, bro, it was my time, bro. That's all I can say. God
Okay.
bless me. He blessed me.
Okay.
Did my thing. Ended up going to Auburn University. Led the team in sacks both years that I was there. And I went to the league, man. I maybe been a little premature, but I went. I had to go. I had to go. It was my time.
Okay. So where'd you end up getting drafted in the league? What round?
A 7th round, 237 pick.
So
Yep.
you would expect it to go higher than that, right?
Yeah, man. I was supposed to
Oh,
stay in school. Honestly, I
right.
had only been there 2 years on the field. Even though I balled and I led the team in sacks, I was still young. Man, I was 20 years old walking into the NFL. So I was young. I was still my body was still developing. I had only been playing defensive end at that point for 3 years. You know, my last year in high school, I sat out my first year at Auburn. In the 2 years I played after that, my sophomore and junior year, and that was it. And I went to the league.
So when you jumped into the draft, you expected to go higher than you did in the 7th round?
Yep. I was
Okay.
expected at least go first day, second, third, late
Oh,
first
man.
maybe, because I was supposed to run real good. I was supposed to,
Yeah.
I was fast, but I
Yeah.
didn't live up to those expectations.
Okay. So what was that like for you, man? Draft night. You got Thursday. All right, here we go. Friday. Okay, now
Man, listen, let me tell you something, bro. Let me tell you about how God can humble a man. Oh, my head was so big. I had just played against Alabama in the Iron Bowl. I got 4 sacks in the Iron Bowl. So my head was this big. You couldn't tell me nothing. I'm going to the NFL and ain't nobody gonna stop me. Like this is what I'm doing. My mama begging me to stay. My coaches at Auburn begging me to like, no, don't leave, bro. You leaving so much money on the table. You could be a first rounder next year. I wasn't trying to hear it, bro. In my mind, I was a first rounder right then. So I left early and we had this big party at my house, bro. I mean, all my family was there. They just knew I was getting drafted early. I mean, the whole block was there, bro. And
Oh,
when I
man.
tell you, bro, that was the most humbling experience watching all those players get called and getting phone calls and not getting drafted. Everybody asking me, you think it's coming up now? You think you're getting drafted now? And then you're watching people leave and go home. Everybody hugging you with the sad look on their face. And it's like, oh
Yeah.
my God. And it ain't no turn around. You can't
Right,
turn
right.
around and go back. So once you out
Right.
there, you out there. So
Right.
day 2 roll around. Bro, it's just me and my mama now. Ain't nobody else over there. It's just me and her and my head on her chest crying like a baby. Cause I had felt like I made a huge mistake. So
Yeah.
she walked me to the park and she had a long talk with me and she said, you know what? Sometimes in life, we think that we better than what we are. And she said, but it was 32 teams out there that didn't think how you thought. So you gotta accept that. And that was the hardest thing for me to hear, especially from my mama. But it put a potato-sized chip on my shoulder. Do you understand me? So
Yeah, that's
I was infuriated. And right after that,
Yeah.
I got the call from Coach Sal Sinceri, Carolina Panthers. He said, man, Stanley, I see you still out there. I know you probably left school early, you probably regretting everything, but there's no way I'm gonna let you go be a free agent. We're gonna draft you with our 7th round pick, and I'm gonna bring you to Carolina and I'm gonna teach you how to be a DN. And that's my story, and I got drafted.
Yeah, late in those drafts, right? If you get to that seventh round, you start thinking, okay, free agent route might be better, right? Because then I got to pick my team. I can go to the team that don't have any defensive ends. It's going to give me more opportunity. And so getting drafted is always a blessing, right? Regardless of
Right.
where you get drafted. Were you in your head like, all right, let me look at what this free agent route's going to look like, and then they came scoop you up?
Boy, I did not want to be a free agent.
Okay.
I had so much pride, bro. I mean, I was
Yeah,
crushed. I was crushed, bro. In my mind, I was a first rounder. I was everything. I wanted to be a millionaire. I had all these dreams and aspirations. I'm gonna take care of my family. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. So it was humbling. It was just humbling. It was like, man, I moved too fast on that one. I had to take that L, but it was part of my life because I was able to go learn from Julius Peppers, and I never listen to me, bro.
ooh,
I would never take that back ever again. I do
yeah,
everything the same way. If God was gonna place me with Julius Peppers,
yeah,
there it is. That was my favorite player. So at the end of the
yeah,
day, there was a light at the end of the tunnel. It was a bittersweet story. Yeah, I went late, but I got drafted, and then I got drafted to a team that I had the best player that I ever laid eyes on. I got an
right.
opportunity to play with him and
Yeah.
learn with him.
Yeah, that's dope, man. And so you had that time with the Panthers, and then you ended up getting cut and going to Houston, and you had that injury. So I'm gonna ask you that
Immediately.
hypothetical, right? Everything played out the way that it was supposed to play out,
Yes,
right?
sir.
As you where you are right now, and being able to do what you're doing now. But do you think that that would have gone differently had you not had that injury and been able to stay on the field? Do you think there was more career ahead of you at that point?
For sure, for sure. I got there. I immediately started with opposite of Mario Williams. I felt like this was my new birth, bro. This is my time, bro. I can prove myself. Like, okay, I got another chance. I got cut on Friday. They picked me up on Saturday. So I was still feeling like I was somebody. Like I felt good. And when I got there, bro, I gave it my everything, bro. When I tell you I was trying to prove to Carolina y'all had them messed up, I was sad, I was hurt, and
Yeah,
everything, bro. And I got there in the first game, bro. They put me on kickoff just because I'm a big fast dude. They got me at the
right.
L5. If you know football, you know what I'm talking about. I'm
Yeah.
at the L5, and they told me to run down there and bust that wedge. And we was playing Pittsburgh Steelers. And I got to
Woo.
bust this three-man wedge by myself. Three-man
Right.
wedge, they win over 300 each. And I went down there and I gave it my all. I hit that wedge, and my knee went this way and I went this way. And I
Man.
didn't even realize it until I got on the sideline and my knee had done swole up. And I had only been there for a week. So coach called me to go in the game, like, McClover, where you at, McClover? And I'm like, Coach, I don't know what happened to my knee, bro. I'm out.
Yeah.
And I end up on the hospital table after the game. Doctor telling me, yeah, bro, you're gonna have to have surgery. And when we wake you up, we'll let you know what it is. Long story short, woke me up, told me I gotta sit out the rest of the year.
Or what was it? What was the injury? ACL or?
Tore my right lateral meniscus.
Oof.
Yep.
Okay.
And they tried to repair it, and I ended up tearing it again. My second year with Houston, tore it again, got on IR again. Then they released me.
Yeah.
So my whole time in Houston, I played one snap and got hurt.
Damn.
And they kept me on the team for 2 years, bro. 'Cause they seen it in me, but
Yeah.
damaged goods,
Yeah.
damaged
Nah, you
goods.
got to
They
be
not
able to.
let me
Yep.
go, and I was 24 years old, bro, and that sent me into depression immediately.
Nah, that's what I was going to ask is you had that career, you were ready to turn the corner. You was ready to prove the draft guys wrong, all the
Yeah,
other
bro.
teams wrong, everything else ready to go. In that first play, first snap, you tear that meniscus, and then you come back and you're like, okay, I'm good now, right? I'm fully prepared and I'm back now. And then bam,
Say it
it
again.
hits. And now we sitting in that space, that transition out of football, right?
Immediately. Immediately.
That identity, right? All of that energy towards
Yeah.
being best shape of my life, ready to go. And now where's it go?
Immediately though, bro. That's the thing I want players and people to understand. It happened like this. It don't take months. It's as soon as you get that call and you cut, it's over with. It's over. Now you at the liberty of waiting on somebody to give you a call. And you don't know when that call gonna ever come, bro. In my case, it never came no more. That's it. I went and played arena football. That didn't fill me up. And I chased it. I chased it. I chased it till I couldn't chase it no more.
So that career came to an end. And so when did that next phase of life, that new identity kick in? How long, what was that timetable? How long did it take you to bounce back to the next phase?
I tell everybody, and I'm going to tell you, bro, it took me 10 years. I went through 10 years, 10 long years of depression. And just being lost, being ashamed, running through all my money, being embarrassed, living with my mama, living with my grandmama. I'm just going from house to house, just lost, bro. I was never hiding though. I always stayed in the community. I always gave back to the community because I got a connection with God. And I knew I was getting a spanking. I knew it. I was getting a spanking, bro. He hadn't gave me everything. And it went to my head, and it was just too much for me to handle at that time. And so he said, well, since I gave it to you, I'm gonna let you know I'm the one taking it from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what helped? So it's going to be a two-part question. What helped during that time? And now where you are in a more mature phase, what do you wish that you had done during that time to really help yourself out? So we'll start with the part one. What helped you during that time?
I'm gonna be honest, bro. I think everything happens for a reason. Everything is needed in a story, in a journey. And that was part of my journey. I needed that to happen to me because I strayed away from God. I was very close with God. I had a very close relationship. But the more I got, more notoriety, the more bigger I got, the more talent I got, I started drifting away from who gave it to me. And I did it,
Right.
He used to send little warnings to me all the time. Like, guys would come to me and I remember John Beeson coming to me one time and saying, hey, bro, you got a lot of talent, bro, but you need to take this a little bit more serious, bro. You gotta take this football thing a little bit more serious. And I just had it, but I didn't have it. So it was one of those things where I didn't come out of my depression until my little brother, his name is Brian Burns, played for the New York Giants. Till he came to me one day, he was in high school, and he said, bro, I want to play football. I want scholarships. I want my name called just like my friends that I see. I want it, bro. I would like for you to coach me to play football. Came out of depression just like that because he made me feel like somebody again. Somebody seen me. He made me feel like a hero. I was his hero. So I was like, okay, well, since you want to play ball, I'm going to make you the best DN in the world. Period. And he was like this big, he was so little. I could never see what he is now, but it was just my love for him. And I didn't want him to go the route I went so bad that I poured everything that I had learned from Julius Peppers and everybody along the way. I just poured it.
And so your love for your brother, you were able to marry that with your love for the game and put all that together and give him wisdom and stuff that he might have never had. And so that's dope, man.
Bro. Not to cut you off, bro, but I really want to make this point because I know there's going to be some big brothers out here that feel me. Bro, I wanted to be a first rounder so bad. This is my dream, okay? I'm eat, sleep, everything football. I wanted it badly. I'm praying for it, growing hard. I'm working hard, all that. And I didn't get that, So when God blessed my brother with it, I knew everything that happened in my life was for a reason. And I still was able to get that experience through him. Because he bring me along, man, and it's a blessing.
That's big, man, because you even see it now, and I have kids that play AAU basketball. My oldest plays, my daughter, she plays flag football, but you see it all the time, the coaches and parents that are living vicariously through their kids versus what it sounds like you did. I'm not going to live vicariously. I'm going to give you the wisdom. I'm going to give you the training. I'm going to give you everything I can give you so that you can go and be great, right? Instead of I'm going to now try to be that first round pick through you.
Right.
I love you. And so it has to be something bigger than ourselves that we're pouring ourselves into, right? Sometimes when we get caught up in sports and everything else, it becomes, like you said, about us. I'm
Right.
pouring me into me because I'm so great.
Mm-hmm.
But really, it sounds like you found a degree of freedom when it was like, I'm going to pour myself into you because
Amen.
I love you and
Amen.
because I care about you. And wait, Stanley's finding himself in loving and caring for somebody else versus just caring about Stanley. So that's dope, man. That's a dope piece of the journey. And so if we take more mature you, kind of where you are now, and looking back, what do you think Stanley could have benefited from if you were able to go back and talk to Stanley when he was in that 10-year phase, man? What would you go back and tell him? What advice would you give him?
Surrender your life to God earlier, way earlier. Because I could have came out of that depression way earlier if I would have just surrendered and let God know that I know I was wrong. I waited a long time to give it up, bro. I'm just being honest and transparent as I
Yeah,
can. I waited a long time to have a prayer and say, God, I messed up. I had to take accountability. Like I blew it. Just had to say it out my mouth. I blew it. Because when you make it to the league, bro, that's a very, very, very special fraternity of men that was
yeah,
able to make it there and stay there
yeah,
and make the active
yeah,
roster. It is extremely hard to do. So when you
yeah.
do it, your mind get like this. It's like, I did it. And it's so quick, you so quick to think you did it. But it's so many people that helped you get there. And if you don't be grounded in that, you'll lose it. You will lose it.
And that depression is real, man, which is why we talk about mental health, right?
Mhm.
Knowing what that is, knowing what I'm feeling, right?
Right.
Knowing, kind of what's going on, and then who I can talk to, right? That started a career on draft night, everybody was in the room.
Everybody.
When that phone didn't ring no more, it was only you in the room.
Yep.
Your
Only me and my
mama, your
mama.
grandma, wherever you were staring or whatever.
Mhm.
So those people weren't around. It's just you. Everybody's there when you up. Everybody's there when the sun shine. When the clouds come in, who you got with you, right? And what does that look like? And so that could be family, right? Sometimes for a lot of people, that could be talking to a therapist, right?
Mhm.
Being able to have that conversation to understand what you're feeling and what's going on the inside. That could be our faith, the prayer, tapping into that higher power, tapping into God. But we need to be able to identify those folks along the way. Who's really with you, right?
Yes, sir.
And I'm sure your brother, his success in part is due to knowing that he has somebody that was there with him,
Amen.
somebody that wasn't in it for themselves, right?
Mhm.
It's not, I'm Stanley, I'm here to help you so we can get that check when you become a first round pick. It's no, I want to see you succeed, and I'm going to give you everything that I had and more to be able to get to where you want to be. And having that person in our corner is huge, man. It's huge. And they're harder to identify once you already have success. Because now you're trying to figure out who's here because they're here or who's here because of the sunshine, right?
And I
And
only
so,
know it because I didn't have it. That's the only way I
yeah,
know how to be that person.
yeah,
Because it's just like a man growing up without a father. They typically be the best fathers because they know what they was missing. The whole time they know what they yearned for, what they wanted. I wanted a big brother so bad. I wanted somebody to guide me. Like I knew I had a lot. I had a lot of charisma, a lot of swag, a lot of game, a lot of all this, but I ain't had no guidance. So I was just doing whatever I felt was right. So, I think God gave me grace for that because I did it genuinely out my heart. He blessed me with a whole lot of talent overnight, and it went to my head like anybody else, any other
right.
human being. It was almost like the ugly duckling story. The
Yeah,
one that nobody expect to make it, but then he makes it, and it can go to your head. So my story has always been about staying humble and keeping God first while you're experiencing some of the best times in your life. Just remember who put you there because it can go quickly or it can last forever. You know?
right. Right. Hey, I mean, I think if you put Tom out there and he couldn't be touched, he could probably still play right now.
Come on, bro. I mean, this man 45,
You saw
whatever
him
he
playing that
is.
flag football game a couple weeks ago. Looked like he might still be able to do some things.
Somebody still thinking about coming. I mean, bro, go head on. Yeah.
we talk a lot about resilience gap, right? That space between push through and breakdown, that space for I was never prepared for this, right? I never trained for this. And one of those is injury, right? Like getting your head right after an injury because you like, okay, what's it mean, doc? You gonna tell me when I come out of surgery what's going on? Okay, what does rehab look like? How soon can I get back to the field? Like, how can I push it to the limit?
Mhm.
Well, if it took them a year, I want to go a little bit faster than that. I want to
Right.
get back. I want to prove everything, and then you get a second injury, right?
Yeah.
Man, it's got to feel like a gut punch. Okay, now I'm a little worried, right?
Yeah.
Because we know
Definitely.
what the league is like. Right now, I'm a
Mhm.
little worried. And so it sounds like that was one of those times where, hey, can nothing prepare you to have an injury like that and go through that experience? You got to do that in real time and figure that out. And so, what kind of supports were there for you during that time? Were there other athletes that you were able to talk to that had been through injuries? Doctor, what was there for you when you were going through that injury? I mean, that's a year, 2 years, right? Because I know the mind is a powerful thing, man, and it's probably going 10,000 different places while you're sitting there navigating that.
So glad you said that, bro. I had just got to Houston. I told you I had been there a week. I got cut from Carolina Friday, got to Houston Saturday. I was suited and booted by Sunday, ready to play. So my first snap, I'm out of there. So it's like the depression kicked in right then. And then so when the doctor tells me that it's over with for the year, there's a big, excuse my language, a big ass hurricane, category 5, biggest hurricane that hit Houston. I just happened to be there. In my
Yeah.
first week, I don't know nobody on the team but Mario Williams. I only know Mario Williams because we was in the All-Star game together. So we don't got a connection. So the doctor tell me, I'm so sorry to tell you this, but it's a very bad hurricane coming through. We're not gonna be able to give you no pain meds. Do you have any family you can go to? Because all the stores, all the prescriptions, everything is closed. Everybody's evacuating. I said, what? He said, we don't
Wow.
have once the pain medicine in you go away, that's it. So we trying to get you together now. Do you know anybody down here? I'm like, no, I don't know a soul. Bro, I just moved into my high-rise condo. I'm on the 35th floor. This hurricane take off. I have no pain meds. My leg is on my couch. I'm sitting on the couch. It's bleeding. The hurricane go off, bro. All the lights go out. And the building is rocking, bro. I'm looking at the highway flooded with water, tree branch. I'm thinking I'm gonna die, bro. I'm in pain. I can't move. I'm talking to my mama. My phone died. And at that point, I was like, bro, it might be easy if I just go, cause I couldn't take the pain. The pain was too much, bro. I passed out because of the pain. I just woke back up. I was on the floor, bro. I was out of. That was the worst time of my life. And the whole condominium, they just evacuated. Everybody was gone. And the only way they knew I was in there, the manager of the property, he was walking down everybody hallway. Is anybody here? Is anybody here? And that was the next day. So I had been in there a whole 24 hours with no medicine, no nothing. Then he came, he bought me some, I remember he bringing me some crackers. And then bought me that's back in the day when we had the iPods and you could watch a video. And I watched
Yeah.
Shawshank Redemption. I
Oh
never
man.
forget. I watched the whole movie, and I was just
Yeah.
sitting there, and I was just like, I can't believe this. Like my life is got right here, no
Right.
payment. And then about 3 days later, Houston sent some doctors over there. Once everything opened up, they bought me some pain meds and they bought me some cookout. I remember that.
Oh.
And
Woo.
that's the first time I had ate in 3 days outside of crackers. So
Oh man.
that's my transition, bro. So after that, I was done.
Right.
I was done.
Man.
So then when I get my knee back together the next year, and the doctor made the decision that he's gonna repair it instead of just tearing it out of there. So they repaired it, trying to save it. And I
Right.
play defensive end and I'm fast. So moving around, I'm cutting. Here we go.
Right.
In practice.
Man.
Just in tour days. So I never made it back on the field.
So I gotta imagine, man, the anxiety when you toured again, given what you went through after your first surgery, right? Now, probably no category 5 hurricane coming up, but still sitting in your body like, bro, I'm about to have this same surgery. I know what that pain was like. Here we go again.
You going,
I remember what that felt like. Everything else, like what, your mind is probably going 1,000 different places. It
yeah.
was probably easier, right? You were probably able to get pain meds and everything else.
Yeah,
But I
it
imagine
was
you.
easier. It was an easier process, but it took the same amount of recovery time.
Yeah.
Cause
And now you're
you
thinking
had to
about
cut it out.
career,
The
right?
second time they just cut it out. What they should have did the
Right.
first time. So
Right.
I lost another whole year. So
Yeah.
we gotta let you go, Stanley. I mean, we tried. We held on to you long enough. No, we gonna let you go. Then once you damage goods, bro, good luck trying to get another team to call you.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And so we're still in that early phase, right? We're getting into after that 10-year period next. But what's the biggest misconception that you think is out there about life after the NFL, life after the pro career? What's the thing that like athletes don't understand that they need to understand that they need to start preparing for?
They definitely need to understand how to find a hobby. They need to know they need something else outside of football. That's my number one advice. You gotta have something else going on. It ain't gotta be always business related. It need to be, maybe you got a nonprofit and you get involved in the community. Maybe you're techie, you want to start some type of AI, something. Because when it's over, bro, you're gonna be lost out here. Because people are not gonna treat you how they treat you now. Opportunities not gonna come your way how they come now. When you come in the room, don't nobody gonna give a damn when you come in the room now, when it's over, because you
Right.
don't play no more. You a has
Right.
It happens
Right.
that quick unless you Tom Brady. You know,
Yeah.
and how many Tom Brady's out there? How many Michael Strahans out there? You only
Yeah.
hear about few guys, bro. It's 53 men on the team.
Right.
And those names getting changed out every year. So these guys get out in the regular world and don't know what the hell to do.
Yeah.
They hand been in the dirt for 17 years.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So now you want them to go into a office, have a desk, you know,
Yeah.
bro. So they be so lost. So my thing is, when you see your career, not even when it's going down or when you're getting older, start now. Start now doing different things. Why you play? Why you got time? Because you don't have to, you're not playing football 24/7. Do something else. Get a degree or go get a trade. Do something while you have that money and you got that clout. That's when you go get out there and you will work deals and
Right.
internships and stuff like that. So figure out what do you like outside of football, because when it's over, you're not going to be able to replace that void. You're not going to be able to
Yeah.
replace the locker room, none of that.
Yep.
So you got
It
to.
is any sport. I have a D1 lacrosse player that I'm working with now, and we're talking about his first season. They want him to add weight and everything else, and we're talking about, hey, what else do you do besides sports? And he was like, well, this is what I do. I was like, all right, let's change the subject. What do you love doing? What is that? He was like, I love fishing. I was like, you've been at school up in Jersey. Have you fished? Nah, I've just been focused on lacrosse and hanging out and everything else. It's like, what else do you like to do? He was like, oh man, I love playing pool too, throwing darts. I was like, have you done? He's like, I've done some of that. So the biggest thing that you love is fishing. He was like, yeah. I was like, and you haven't fished at all? I was like, nah. I was like, when you've been back home, have you fished? He was like, no. I was like, so my God, it sounds like you need to go fishing.
Right.
It feels like if what you love is fishing, if you are stressed out from your identity as a lacrosse player and you're grinding lacrosse and you're losing yourself, go touch earth. Go get grounded. Go to home plate.
Yes.
If it's fishing, go do that. Clear your mind. Develop that other side of yourself. Those other sides of ourselves need to breathe too. We can't just be one thing. And it doesn't matter if you're an athlete. Even me as a therapist, if all I do is just therapy, I'm missing out on so many more aspects of myself, of how I was created, all the other things that I'm capable of, can think about, and everything else. And when you have the ability to make that choice, that's fantastic. Sometimes we don't get the option to make that choice.
Mhm.
Sometimes we have to get what we love taken away from us
Yeah.
to really help open our eyes to everything else
Now you
that we
talking,
have.
Phillip. You talking.
Right. So sometimes we have to be blessed
through our children
Amen.
to get into something and to do something that we never knew that we love and can have a passion about and can change lives and implement, right? Sometimes the gift isn't for us. Sometimes that gift is for our brother so we can get him to where he needs to be. And so all of these things wrapped up in it. And now we talking that transition post football for you. So what does that look like for you now? What are you pouring into now? What are you building up now?
Beautiful, beautiful, bro. I mean, that was wonderful, bro. I've always been in the community. I've been in the community for the last 20 years with Big Brothers United. And like I said, when you go through life and you don't have something, you yearn for it. So I created a nonprofit called Big Brothers United, where all big brothers like myself, advocates, uncles, it don't matter, grab somebody up under your shoulder, up under your arm, and you help them out. You know, it don't matter. Show love, give back. So that's the number one thing for that. Been doing that for 20 years. So I have kids. I have three kids, 2 girls and a boy. And God blessed me with an autistic son named Champ. I don't know what made me name him Champ, but I'm glad I did, because he's been a champion. But he was diagnosed at 3 years old. I will say this, he started out normal. My son was normal at one point in life. He was ahead of the game. He was speaking. He was saying "Daddy" quick. He was trying to put on his shoes. I mean, he was locked in. I was like, damn, I got a little DN on my hands. I'm gonna make him a DN. I did it with my brother. I know I'm gonna do it to my son. Come on, bro. That is a no-brainer. I'm about to pour all into him. So I'm getting all my plans ready to go. I'm so happy. I prayed God all day long. God, please give me a son. I got to have me a son. Come on now, I ain't gonna have no son. I got 2 girls. Give me a son, God. I need it. Bro, I get that diagnosis, bro. And autism was introduced in my life, and it just turned my world upside down. Back into depression. Now I'm back all over again, back in a hole. Embarrassed because I felt like I had something to do with my son having autism. Mad at God because what? I prayed for this, and what is autism? And now the doctor's telling me my son will never speak. I'm gonna have to take care of him for the rest of my life, for the rest of his life. His motor skills, he's not gonna know how to pick up things and do this and do that. His awareness level is gonna be low. And I'm just hearing all these things for the first time, bro, and I'm just crying, bro. It's just breaking me down. And I'm like, what is autism? So as I dig into autism, it's the scariest thing in the world as a dad that get that diagnosis and you go on YouTube and start looking it up. I recommend don't do that. You know, pray first or something. Don't do that. Because that's what I did. And all I seen was bad situations, bro.
Yeah. And it's a spectrum, right? Every kids can be different.
That's why I say that.
Different points on that spectrum too, right? So you go and you start reading it, and you like at the no, we back over here.
You go to the worst of the worst because you don't know. It's something that it hits you like a tornado. It's like, what in the world did this lady just tell me? And so as I'm doing my reading, but the nonverbal part what hurt me. It hurt me bad because I got 2 other kids that speaking just fine. Oh, you mean to tell me my son not gonna talk? And that was hard for me. So I went back into depression, and what it really did, I met this woman named, well, first of all, I'll rewind. My brother got traded to the New York Giants from Carolina. He was drafted to the same team I was drafted to. That's another great part of the story. We'll get to it later. But when he left Carolina and was drafted to New York, I was wondering, like, how the hell we end up in New York? Like, we go from Carolina to New York overnight. Like, what's going on, God? And my brother had a great career. Like, why are we still not in Carolina? Bro, I tell you no lie, bro. I'm not gonna lie on this podcast. We get to Jersey, first people I meet is this lady named Nadine from their son's place. It's an autistic nonprofit where she's in the community just giving back. But she's in a low income community, so she's in the hood. She working. So I meet this woman, bro, and she say to me, listen, God gave his son to save everybody, right? In Jesus. I say, yeah. I ain't know where she was going with this. She say, well, why you think he gave you yours?
Ooh, Ooh.
When I heard that, bro,
Ooh.
I say, you know what, Nadine, you are absolutely right. She said, I need you to come down and speak at my event as a dad. You come speak. And I was like, nah, I don't do no speaking. She was like, no, you gonna speak. This is gonna be therapy for you. Trust me.
Yeah.
Bro, I went down there and I laid it out. I was transparent as I could possibly be, bro. I was crying. I just let it out, bro. I ain't care. I ain't got no pride when it come to that, bro, because I needed some help. Man, them daddies poured into me, bro. Them daddies said some great things to me. And I came out of that luncheon and I was like, this is my life. I'm finna dedicate my life to autism awareness. And I'm gonna make sure that my son gonna speak one day and somebody else kid gonna speak one day, because I'm in now. I'm all the way in.
Right.
So ever since that, I created Height for Life Foundation for autism awareness, where we help small foundations, we help families, we help everybody that's dealing with autism, and also trying to create new ways and new things to do for families to help them. So I've been doing this for the last year now, and my son is the face of it. I call it Champions of Autism.
Yeah.
And I attack it every single day. That's my thing. That's what I do every day now. I'm a complete advocate for autism.
That's dope, man. And I think, you know, that experience that you had going down there and talking to those dads, you know, when we use the terminology therapy, right? People can be afraid of it, especially in our community, right? There's a fear of that therapy. What does therapy mean? Going in and talking to somebody. There are a lot of things that can be therapeutic, but the benefit of therapy is all that stuff wasn't just meant to sit inside of you.
Amen.
It wasn't just meant to sit there. And what we do is we're gonna be tough, and as guys, we're gonna be tough. We're gonna muster, we're gonna get it done, we're gonna go out and do the next thing and next thing. And sometimes in life, we had to get slowed down by circumstances. So we realized, okay, I can't just go do the next thing, but I got all this stuff sitting inside of me. And when you went before those dads and poured out, it sounds like poured out your heart and what was inside of you, it was therapeutic.
Yes, it was.
It was someplace to go. It was someplace safe.
I
We
need
don't necessarily want to give all that to our ladies sometimes, right? Because we got a different perspective as men. But you went out and you were able to get that stuff out of you. And by getting it out, talking about it, processing it, it sounds like it really helped you get out of that depression and benefited you, right? We are builders by nature.
Mhm.
We got to be building something. If we're not building something, we're going to struggle. We got to be building something, right? And that building, it also takes speech. We got to talk, right? So as you were helping your brother build himself into a pro, you were talking to him. You were in his ear. You were giving him wisdom. You were giving him that. And now where you are building this awareness around autism, it comes through talking to other people. It comes through pouring out your experience, just being genuine and authentic and talking about what's going on inside of you, what your experience was like. Being transparent is, yo, I was terrified with my son because I had this plan over here, but now we got this plan over here. And so it really is, there's something therapeutic, there's something beneficial from a mental health perspective to be able to get what's inside of us out, finding some place for it to go. Faith, praying, right? God already knows everything that's going on inside your head and heart, but can you open your mouth and get it out? Can you pray about it? Are you willing to turn and say, hey, hey, I need you to, he already knows you need him. That wasn't a mistake. But when you talked about it, when you were willing to open your mouth and say, you know what, I'm going to take accountability.
Yeah.
This is on me. I messed up. And so we have to get that stuff out of us, man.
Man.
And so I'm so glad that you have the Hype for Life Foundation to be able to talk about autism, to be able to talk to underprivileged folks or whoever about autism, because they're still working to understand it. They're still working to really wrap their hands around it. And there's parents that, like you, are struggling with, like, what does this mean?
Yeah.
Because we have this idea of what our kids are going to be when they're born. Then we actually have to transition into parenting the kids that we have.
Yes, ma'am.
Because just because we see this for them in their future, there's a quote, man plans and God laughs, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, We got a DN. No, we don't have a DN.
No.
We have a whole platform and mission that's far bigger than just being a DN in the NFL. We do something bigger than that, man.
You
And
already
so
got a DN. Your brother DN.
I already got a DN over there,
Yeah.
right? You know, you said it. There's 32 teams. There's 53 players on the teams. Maybe you keep, 4 to 6 DNs. That's a limited position for a limited number of years. What you have before you in Hype for Life is you until the wheels fall off to the end of the road,
Yes.
right? You have work to do, something you can pour into that's benefiting others, that's great, that also gives back to you. You're probably learning a lot through your experience being connected with this, man. And so I see that you guys also have the Autism Dad getaways, right? So talk to me about what that's like for you.
Oh, this is my first annual Autism Dad getaway in the A. It's July 24th to the 26th. And man, it's all about mental health and self-care. And also honoring the dads that stand in the game. Honoring and not to say you need a pat on your back, but sometimes you do. Sometimes you do. I'm a football player, right? I'm a team player. So I can only do things that I know about. So when I make a good play on the field and coach say, "Good job, Stanley," you know what that make me feel like? That make me feel good. I want to do it again. So if I mess up, he say, "Bad job, Stanley." I'm not gonna do that no more. So with the dads, it's the same thing in my mind. I wanted to create a weekend where we honor the guys that's taking their kids to school, staying in the game, being a dad to other people's kids, stepdads, advocates, dads who uncles and brothers and people who step in for the dads that's passed away, the dads that don't want to take their responsibility. Nobody talks about these guys, but these guys are putting in the work every single day. It might not be a glorious position, but it's a position that I see because I'm a dad. This is my reality. 24/7, I'm dealing with my son with autism, and my heart goes out to, and my mind is thinking, well, damn, if God done blessed me and I'm in a financial good situation, I'm in a life situation, I'm retired, all these good things in my life, I can just imagine a father that's not on my level. What the hell is he dealing with? Because it's breaking me down. So I'm like, okay, so that just tells me the more that I get for myself, the more help that I get for me, I got to return and get that to others. So the Autism Dads is just collecting all the dads around the world, bringing them to Atlanta to just brotherhood, network. We're gonna have fun. We're going to the bowling alley, cigars. We're gonna do a black tie event that Saturday night at the Western Hotel by the airport, where we're gonna give awards to dads. We're gonna do giveaways. We're gonna help some of these guys out financially. We're sponsoring dads. If anybody out there wants to sponsor a dad for this event, I'll make sure that everybody has the information. But that's my goal, bro, is just to bring awareness as much as I can and also support the fathers that's going through it, because I am a father. We're not leaving the mothers behind at all. We do great work for the women as well, but I am a father and I got a heart for fathers, and I want to see us all come together and build our village so we can help each other.
Yeah, I love hearing that, because being a dad is something that crosses all spectrums, right? And I think that Father's Day always looks different than Mother's Day.
Amen.
But being a father is a unique set of circumstances, and then you tie into that as men, we don't necessarily talk about our feelings or that struggle of what it's like to be a dad. I was leaving, family just got back from vacation yesterday late, up to like 1, 2 a.m. and I'm heading in to record the podcast this morning while everybody in my house is still asleep. And tomorrow I hit the road with the boy going up to Philly for an AAU tournament this weekend. And so that grind, and then Monday we back to work and everything else. And so I'm talking to his coach on the phone and I'm like, yeah, man, every head was still resting in my house after being up at 2 a.m., but I'm up and working. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, he was like, I know exactly what that's like. I was like, we don't have these conversations. So sometimes we think we on an island, we unseen and we unrecognized. But when you start talking to another dad, like our experiences are quite similar.
Be
We
the
just
same.
need those spaces. Yeah, we just need those spaces to be able to talk about it because
Yeah,
we gonna work. We gonna make sure the family's taken care of and provided for, and that role's no different than that uncle or whoever steps up to help take care of those
yes,
kids.
sir. They just as
It's the
important.
same thing.
It's just as important.
It's a big commitment that you're making and an important role, and so many kids don't have that. But
And I
and I
like
want to
that
say this
word that you
directly to
use,
fathers.
bro. Commitment. Like when you
Yeah,
walk in these kids' life, bro, you can't just go out tomorrow. Like you gotta
yeah,
stay there. So I commend the stepdads and the advocates and just a father period for staying in the game. That's why I do a podcast for autism dads called Stay in the Game for Autism Dads, where I interview dads. And I just, I talk to them. Sometimes it's for therapy, sometimes it's for information, sometimes it's for wisdom. Sometimes I just want to talk to a brother. I just want to,
yeah,
bro, let me tell you something. A man, when I spoke in New Jersey, and I'm a heterosexual man all day long. But when a man hug you, bro, and he mean it, that's different. That's different. That's a different kind of hug. And I want to get those hugs to guys when they come to this event. Just a hug.
yeah, yeah,
Bro, one of them guys hugged me and I just cried.
yeah,
I put my head right on his chest like a baby.
yeah,
And I'm telling you, bro, this is real life. And a lot of men might not admit it, but I will.
yeah,
If a
yeah,
man or a real man hug you, bro, and got some love
yeah.
for you, and hug you and say, bro, I'm with you, you liable to cry. Because we go through so much that we don't share.
They know. And sometimes just when that hug comes, it's like, bro, I know you get it, right? It's not from a position of, I love my wife dearly. I love my wife dearly. My wife hugging me communicates something different to me than when I'm struggling and that man comes alongside and says, hey, I see you. I see you.
It's different.
Because sometimes you feel unseen with the load that you're carrying and everything else.
Yes, sir.
And so having a brother come along is great. And that's where when I talk to a lot of athletes, they talk to me not about fathers sometimes, but about coaches.
Yes, sir.
Coaches that loved them,
Yeah.
coaches that cared about them and came alongside of them, coaches that they knew were in their corner. And that's an amazing position to be a coach because sometimes you are playing pseudo daddy,
Yes, sir.
right? Where you come along and those are the coaches that you're going to go to war for, that
Mhm.
you're going to go to bat for because I know they in my corner. I know they see me. I know I want to live up to the expectation that they putting out there. And your brother probably in some ways was like, I see how much my brother is pouring into me. I want to be able to live up to that. He's setting a standard for me to drive through, right?
Man.
And kids see those standards. And whether they're dealing with autism or not, they see daddy. They see that man that's in their life that's loving them.
Yep.
They see those people that are in their life loving and caring for them, and they want to meet that standard. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Just don't make me the standard to live by because I'm imperfect. I'm going to fail at times and everything else. I'm going to make sure I point you to a higher standard than me.
Mhm.
But those standards are important.
Yes.
Like you said with football, afterwards, I wanted something to execute. I wanted something to do. I wanted something to give back. I wanted something to pour into. And a lot of times that can be our kids, man. That's the first place that they go, man. And you got daughters too.
Yeah.
So you know what you know what that's like. They come in and they soak all that energy up.
They so
Yeah,
good,
yeah.
man. So it's
Yeah, man.
beautiful. Like I would change nothing in my life, bro. Everything made me who I am today. I'm strong. I can get out here in this world and take criticism. I feel like I can do anything, bro. And the thing that I want to do with my time left on earth is help people. That's just what I want to do.
That's beautiful, man. Make sure you get us information about your event. We want to be able to promote that. We'll put that up
Thank
on
you,
our
brother.
on our Instagram. Support you guys in whatever way we can, man. And I so thoroughly appreciate you coming on and having this conversation because these are the conversations that need to be had so that people know that careers come to an end, but that's not an ending, right? That's a very brief period, very short period of any athlete's life. Even for Brady or Jordan, there was a short period of their life. What you do after that, who you are along the way, how you cultivate that identity, man, that's going to pay off for years to come. Your girls are going to benefit from those stories. Your boys are going to benefit from those stories. Your family's going to benefit from that. The people hearing this podcast that are at the events, those dads are going to benefit from everything that you went to and hopefully be better because of it. and to be able to ask questions of you. Hey, bro, how did you do that? How did you get to that next step, man? And so I appreciate you coming on. Appreciate this conversation, man. This has been really dope. I thank you so much for that. Appreciate that.
I want to add one more thing, bro. It's more of me than it is of Tom Brady's in the world from football. So these conversations are very needed, y'all. Talk to the guys that don't got no name sometimes. Talk to the guys who you don't hear about sometimes and listen to their story. Because everybody got a story. Everybody. Just because you know somebody's name don't make their story more or less impactful than the next man. It's some guys in that NFL that got big hearts, man. It's special. You'll never know about them because they don't got no name. They don't got no big name. But it's, like I said, it's 53 players on the NFL squad. Sometimes 60 if you want to add the practice squad and all of that. But it's a lot of guys, bro. And these guys are leaders in their community. So I just want the people to know before I get out of here, don't always look past the 7th-round picks or the free agents or the guys in between, the special teams players, the guys that just guys. Those guys have big hearts too, man. They can get out here and change the world. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, man. And it's every sport. It's not just football, right? You got baseball players out there, soccer, everything else. Basketball, I know, right? People want to get to the NBA, but going to play overseas is a great career, a great opportunity to build, grow, develop. I know guys that have come out with whole brands that they built from playing overseas in those markets, man. Use that time, use that opportunity, that brief window to really build something that's going to last. And it's definitely not going to be your playing career because that's going to come to end. What are you building from that time that you're young, high school, college, pros, adult? What are you building that is going to last, to give you something to pour into, to cultivate, maybe generate income, or just do good? Sometimes it's just about doing good, right? You gotta have something.
You do
good.
Yeah,
for sure, man.
God gonna bless you, bro. He know your heart. He know what you need, and he gonna make sure you good beyond the game. Period.
Sure, man. Beyond the Game, the name of the podcast.
Hey,
you got that.
See what I did there.
That happened organically. Thank you, Stanley. Appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Before we conclude, some takeaways. For athletes, your identity cannot stop at your sport. The game can end immediately. Injury, cut, or circumstance. If you don't build beyond it, you'll feel lost when it happens. Humility matters more than talent. Talent got Stanley there. Ego almost cost him everything. Success without grounding leads to collapse. Adversity is not optional. It's guaranteed. Draft position, injury after first snap, career ending at 24. You're not preparing for if your career ends. You're preparing for when. You need something else that fills you. Hobby, purpose, community, faith, something else. Football cannot be your only source of meaning. Depression after sports is real and fast. It doesn't take months. It happens immediately when it's over. If you do not prepare mentally, the fall is steep. For parents, don't project your dreams, develop their purpose. He didn't live through his brother or son, he poured into them. Your presence matters more than your plan. His entire perspective shifted when fatherhood hit, especially with the unexpected realities of an autism diagnosis for his son. You have to parent the child you have, not the one you imagine. That shift is where growth happens. Fathers need support too. Men often suffer silently. Community and brotherhood are not optional, they're necessary. Your child can become your purpose, not your pressure. His son didn't derail his life, he redirected it. For coaches, you may be the only father figure a player has. Your words carry long-term weight. Affirmation builds identity. Good job, motivation. Bad job, correction. Same psychology applies off the field. Develop the person, not just the player. If you only build the athlete, you're setting them up to struggle later. Help athletes prepare for life after sports. Encourage hobbies, education, identity, exploration. Create safe spaces for real conversations. Players need somewhere to be honest about fear, pressure, and identity. Thank you for joining us today. Beyond the Game, where mental wellness competes. Make sure to follow CLSI on Instagram and TikTok at clsi.life. Share this episode. Engage with the movement. Together, we can close the resilience gap.